in, having got in way of the attempted clearance. Jim Gannon. Oh, great flick of Alan Armstrong.
It's against Bradford, but here's Warburton!
Yes!
Oh! And trying to manufacture the shot, gets it away, it's there!
Not got it clear. Please, sir! It's a cracker!
Running Armstrong, played in again, and a superb goal!
Tony Diddy! Stockport County are the champions of League Two.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Scarf Bagara War with me, Russ Johnson. I'm joined by Waggy, as always. You all right, mate?
Yeah, very good. And I will never get bored of that intro. It's just superb. It just gets better every time.
Like a fine wine. Like a fine
yes, absolutely.
wine.
Yes, I'm feeling top of the league.
Good stuff. Good stuff. And we're joined by friend of the show. I don't know how many appearances you've made now, mate. And you're famous in America, so thank you for being on this show in England, in little England. It's Dave Philbin.
I had to put some things off to be able to make it tonight, but I was never going to miss it.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Tell you what, this League One malarkey's a bit easy, isn't it? What's going on?
Looks that way, doesn't it?
It's just class, isn't it? It's class to be back in League One just for starters, but that one, I know we'll get onto that on Saturday, it was just class. Yeah. The second left the house to the game finishing, it was just mint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was, and we're going to relive it all on tonight's show. Cheers to everybody for joining us on the YouTubes live and commenting. Thank you very much. And everybody that's listening as well. On the agenda tonight, we're going to talk about the 3-0 win on Saturday. We're going to have a bit of a squad update as well, look at where we are in terms of injuries and possible players coming in, maybe players going out, etc. We're going to talk about the EFLT League 2 Team of the Year. There's a Chally interview to talk about. And then just other bits and bats, basically. Yeah. So I guess without further ado, just to say as well, there's no Oppo preview fan guest this week. Not live on the show anyway. But if you hang around at 9:15, there is a video going live where I do speak to a Bristol Rovers fan. I did it separately, so it'll go straight out after tonight's live show at 9:15 on YouTube's, and I'll get that onto all of the podcast players as well. So, shall we talk about that amazing 3-0 win away at Blackpool? Not played Blackpool for, 19 years, I think it was, which surprised me. Last time we played them, they beat us 1-0. Last time we played them at Bloomfield Road, we won 4-0. What a day.
Yeah. The only disappointment for me was that I drove.
Did you?
You didn't just drive, did you? You drove all over the country three times.
I went from Liverpool to Stockport and Stockport to Blackpool, and then obviously reversed because it took me nephew and his mate. So we all got tickets, but just logistics just fell apart. So ended up driving, which was the only disappointment of an absolutely, utterly fantastic day.
Superb. How was your day, Dave? Go on, talk us through your day. How did it go?
So I drove. So all four of us went, me, Lily, and then my missus and son Oscar, who he's not been to county and he won't go yet because he won't sit still. But we all got there, left at 8, got there nice and early. We got a parking space, went on the big Ferris wheel on the pier, which was a new one for an away day. And it was, I didn't realise how high it was, so we got to the top. So oh no, not like this. Then we went to some arcades, and then they stayed on the beach, and me and Lily went to the grounds. We were going to see if the players were there, but they weren't. So went to a pub, which turned out to be where Waggy was, completely by chance. So we had a drink in there, went to the ground, and it was great being able to look at Lily's face going into a big ground like this, because she just didn't know what to do with herself. And here we ended up staying over. But I say ended up, it was planned. So after the game, we went for a chippy, went for a doss around, and then went to a what can be described as a lovely B&B. I wasn't expecting it, but it was lovely. and I left them a review which started with, "Stayed here after Stockport spanked Blackpool 3-0," and it made it onto the Booking.com reviews. So that was good.
Brilliant.
It was just a great day all around. It helped that the weather was nice. Although first half was sunglasses, second half I think I had to get my jacket on. But it was lovely. As lovely as
Yeah.
Blackpool can be.
It's funny, isn't it? Because I don't want to harp on about the non-league days, but I said it a lot on this podcast. I'd have given my right arm to play Oldham and Rochdale, let alone Blackpool. And we've gone not only have we played Blackpool on the level playing field, we spanked them as well, didn't we?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was fairly even Stevens first half. I think it was, I think it was a deserved 0-0. I don't think either side really had the edge, but we just came out and we just blew them away in that second half. And I think as soon as we scored one goal, I thought, well, we're going to get at least 2 or 3 here easily.
Yeah.
And I think I did say to you just before Barry made that goal or had his goal, I did say, I think we should take Barry off. I don't think he's really doing it. Get Fevrier on. I mean, straight away after the goal, he did get taken off and Fevrier came on and he scored with a few minutes of being on. So it was, but again, it's another goal of the season by Barry. It was just.
I think this is contentious. When he picked up the ball and he took 3 men on, brilliant. But I think the keeper should save it. It's a great goal, and I'm taking nothing away from him. But he'll score 10 more better goals than that this season. Well, he's already had one better one, hasn't he, last week?
Yeah.
To take nothing away from him, by the way, but I do think the keeper could do better.
Yeah, because it wasn't exactly in the corner, was it? It wasn't inside the post. It was.
No,
it kind of went through his hand, not through his hand, but it sort of went over his hand in it. I think.
Yeah, I think we were stood towards that end of the ground, weren't we? And it looked like it had gone well into the corner when we first saw it. But when you saw like the actual replays and stuff, possibly the keeper should have done better. But I think there was 3 or 4 Blackpool players that probably should have done better. There was 2 of them that clattered into each other, weren't they? That ended up on their arse.
Yeah.
So, but take nothing away. It was brilliant. But I mean, it came from their goal kick, didn't it? No, so the keeper kicked it up. I think it was Pye won it, or Horsfall won it.
Yeah.
And then put it onto Torre. Torre, quick 1-2 with Bate, I think, wasn't it? And then put it down the line for Barry. And then Barry does Barry things.
Yeah.
Torre, I'm so pleased for him at the moment. He got some stick the first half of last season, certainly, which was completely not his fault. He was playing out of position. I think he played across every position in the back line, apart from the one that he's good at. And then second half of last season, after he came back from Akron, I thought he was good. But this season, I know we're only 2 games in, but he just looks so comfortable. And the same can be said for Callum Camps. I thought Camps, I could have seen him leaving in the summer, but he's just stepped up. You can tell he's played League One before. I just think those 2 specifically.
Yeah, I think he's starting to look really good next to Bate, isn't he? They seem to be, certainly that second half, they looked better playing together. They weren't getting in each other's way. I think they would seem to be doing that a little bit in the first half. But they were just, as I say, every single player was over a 7, wasn't they? I don't think there wasn't a single player that had a bad game. We all just, Wotton as well. He's come back like a man possessed.
What he needs is those 2 fast players out wide with him.
Yeah.
And he's just, like you've just said, it absolutely.
Apart from his chance that he missed at the end of the first half.
Oh, I know. That's when you think, is it going to be our day here? Do you think in real time that, obviously the replays show that it wasn't, but in real time, I thought it was a penalty for them in the first half.
I was just going to ask the question, was it yes or no? Because in the ground, me and Wag, I mean, I don't know about you, Waggy, but I was like, oh God, we've got away with one there.
I thought it was a stone wall out at the time.
Yeah, in real time, I thought it was.
I didn't think it was. I think that they just sort of rolled each other. So that was my opinion. I didn't think it was a Stonewall penalty. I know their manager came out and said that it was a Stonewall, and if they had scored that,
yeah.
Well, yeah.
But if you replace Pye with their defender and their striker with Wotton, 4,000 people are screaming for that on Saturday, aren't they?
Yeah.
Justifiably so. But I think even if they'd have got that, and I know it changes the game 1-0, the second half looks different, but the way we've come out in the second half both weeks has been crazy. Previously, we'd give it our all the first half and then maybe not have anything left, even if we're 1-0 up or not. But if anything, we're just finding a third and fourth gear in the first 2 games. And is it hard to look at because we played Cambridge, who were going down, and Blackpool, who, well, they'd not lost home since November, had they? But the manager's just been sacked on the back of it, so they can't have been that good. But I'd have taken a 1-0 there. But we can only play who's in front of us, and they're clearly getting motivated to play well against these not so good sides. And I think we're better against better sides as well because we're more space.
Yeah,
I still think we'd had that gear to step up to, even if they got that penalty and scored it.
Yeah,
I think we'd have still. I think we'd probably will have still won, because I think as soon as they'd have got a 1-0, they'd have sat back, and then that'd have just invited us and allowed us to play in front of them and go at them. So I think either way, but I think that was the surprising thing for me, was how they didn't react after we went 1-0 up. They didn't really seem as if there was any fight in them.
Was that more us than them though?
I don't know. That's what I mean. I don't know if it was just because we had the momentum, but you'd think after conceding a goal at home that you're going to be a bit more G'd up. But again, I think that their crowd were quite flat, weren't they? Apart from the first 20 minutes, that singing section that was next to us at the other end. Apart from that, I think they were quiet, so they didn't really seem to get behind the team.
Yeah, I mean, we'll come to the squad and the depth shortly, but Righty, all right, mate, you okay? Our impact subs are better than most teams in our league. Can't argue with that. I mean, when you bring in Fevrier on, for God's sake, because he was devastating, wasn't he? And then Alafi as well. And we've got players to come back. It does bode well for us.
Bailey played well when he came on as well. I think he looked really good, considering how bad he looked on Tuesday before. Yeah, as I say, I know we're in the middle of an injury crisis, but we can still bring Fevrier, Alafi on as subs to make an impact.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that Alafi's got his goal so early and so quickly, because that'll give him massive loads of confidence. Because I think he looks stronger this year, doesn't he? The way he held that defender off.
He doesn't score that goal last season. I don't think he scores that goal last season. He's bulked up, hasn't he, while he's been injured. Like Maka does when he's injured, he comes back bigger every time.
Yeah,
sure. Hippolyte did the same, didn't he? He looked gym fit when he came back from injury. But that finish from Alafi, I said it on BBC Radio Manchester in the week. That was devastating. That had the touch of Ollie Watkins about it, didn't it? It was one touch out, bang, straight across the keeper. Again, from a reverse angle, I'm going to say this as well, Dave. I think the keeper could have done better from the reverse angle, but it was such a hard shot.
From Tanto.
Yeah, such a hard shot.
It was powerful, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, it was massively powerful. So I'm not taking anything away from Tanto for that, absolutely. But yeah, it was just devastating finish. And put the icing on the cake, really. There's probably a Blackpool metaphor in there somewhere about something, but I can't think of it. I'm surprised Fev's. I mean, I know it's only 2 games in, but Fevrier for me, he's a starter. I don't know.
Yeah, I was thinking it, but who do you drop for him?
That's exactly who do you drop. I think Diamond looked a lot better when he came onto the left-hand side than he did on the right-hand side. When Barry went off, then Fevrier went on the right, didn't he? I think Barry looked better again. Diamond looked better again, but he still had a decent game out on that right-hand side. So, as you say, it's the only person I could see being dropped is Diamond, but he's had a cracking 2 games,
isn't it? Once he gets a goal, though, he's gonna go. He's gonna fly.
Yeah, he's gonna be unbelievable. He's gonna be unbelievable. I when I was doing my team on FanHub on Saturday morning, I put Fevrier in and then did my team, and there's I've done that, submit, share, and then someone mentioned you haven't got bait in there or something. Honestly, I was like, you've never seen me move so fast. I was like, with my phone, it's like, why have I not put bait in, dickhead? So, leaving out.
Yeah, I got 14 out of 11 on FanHub on Saturday.
Oh, nice.
I got the yellow card, assist and goal scorer, and 11 out of 11. You don't get anything for it, do you?
You don't get anything extra for it.
You get a mystery box.
Yeah.
You should get a free pint for that. They've stopped those, haven't they?
Yeah. They
Do you
have
know
they
also
stopped-
like
yeah.
that lad from Everton? Is it Onyango?
On
I
Yan,
think
yeah,
he looks really good,
yeah,
and he just goes. He's gone under the radar because, well, why wouldn't you in league games? And we can ignore the game we apparently played last Tuesday, which nobody looked good in. But in the
No.
league games, he just looks so calming. Although when he came on, he's the biggest player on the pitch, and he took a throw in. He can put the ball down.
So I guess the other big question is, was the team selection on Tuesday justified then, given that
I
we
don't think
won?
it's exclusive. But I mean, you've won 3-0 away at Blackpool, so yeah, in a way. But I do think we could have had more players playing against Blackburn. But top of the league, he's doing a great job. I don't want to disagree with him so early in the season because he doesn't deserve it. He knows what he's doing. That sounded like I wanted to. I don't. He doesn't deserve it. It just annoyed me at the time. I've got over it now, but it annoyed me at the time that we just kind of disrespected the competition. And I fully get why.
Yeah.
But I do think we could have had, maybe if you just had a Wootton, Camps, Horsefall, Ben, you've got a spine then, and you can fit players around him. Because as soon as Camps came on, I think we were 3-0 down, but that just settled everything down immediately with one player. But yeah, I don't want to start off with a moan.
No.
But yes, it probably does justify it in answer to your question.
Yes. Waggy, justified?
Yes, absolutely. I said it on last week's pod.
Oh, you did, yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was justified. I understand, we have got a history in that competition for 96 and that, but 96, 97, but it was what it was. And as you say, will we have any better away days this season? Even though it was only the first.
Well, I don't know.
I mean, it was just absolutely class, wasn't it? As you say, just to go into that stadium, and then when they were singing, was it Tanto on Fire, when we were all bouncing, and the full stand, you could feel it absolutely moving. It was just pure absolute class, and as you say, that just totally means we are back. This is where we belong. This is what we've been craving for the last 12 years.
Yeah. I mean, you said about, days like this. I mean, Nigel 6446, I assume that's the name, like code name for a steam engine. We keep having days like this. Wrexham and MK Dons both 5-0, Sutton 8-0, County away, Notts County away 5-2, and now Blackpool. It just gets better and better. Can't say fairer than that. It does. So I think we will have more days like this. I think what we've got to be prepared for, though, is when these days like this do not come any longer, because it's going to happen in the next 5 to 10 years or whatever it is that it starts to happen.
It's going to happen in 2 weeks when we go to Mansfield.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll bring us back down to ground and back to earth, won't they?
But who would have thought, with the fixtures that we've had, Bristol Rovers on Saturday, that possibly the hardest 2 games will be both Mansfield and Crawley, who both started really well as well.
Yeah.
And Wrexham, it just shows that I think, it was the first time in years and years since all 4 promoted teams won in League One in the first game. It just shows that gap, when you recruit properly, the gap's not too bad.
Yeah.
And I think every one of those teams. Well, actually, Crawley haven't recruited properly, have they? They let everybody go. But aside from those, they've got the best manager in the league, though.
Well, apparently best manager in the country, if you believe some X accounts or social media outlets. Maybe not best manager, but surely highest potential.
Really good.
Yeah. Anything more about Blackpool on Saturday?
Are we surprised the manager got sacked?
I was a little surprised, I've got to say, yeah. But then again, his interview was poor. I mean, I don't know if he's been spewing all that kind of stuff for weeks and weeks, but he basically didn't give us any praise whatsoever. He just said how unlucky they were, pretty much, is what I got from it.
Scored 3 lucky goals. They should have had a penalty. And I think, that was pretty much it. I did a look at the comments on X under the, where the Blackpool club actually posted it's a loss to County. There was like 140 comments, and every one of them pretty much was Critchley out. Don't like him. You can't. He's plays a 5-3-2 and won't change when they're not playing well. So maybe that was thing. But it surprises me why give him 2 games of the season if you're pretty much thinking that you want to get rid of him. The same with the Preston North End manager
and MK Dons as well.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah.
Why,
I mean, it's the hope that kills you. It's the hope that kills you, though, isn't it? Maybe they're just thinking, well, it could be different. I mean, we spoke to the Blackpool lads last week. I've watched their podcast since we beat them 3-0, and they were saying it just doesn't change it. They were praising Challoner to say Challoner changed it, and he's got that capability. We know he's sort of, I think he's developed that, to be honest, or certainly with adding players to be able to do those changes, but. Apparently, it was just rigid, static, and he wouldn't change the way he was playing.
So, who was the last manager to get sacked after playing us?
Oh God,
we've mentioned the club tonight.
Silence is a crime. So,
it's not going to be a Crawley manager, is it?
No, it was Matt Gray at Sutton when we beat him 8-0.
Oh, right.
Phil Lloyd got it.
Yeah,
good.
Phil Lloyd got
Phil.
it.
Yeah.
Well done, Phil.
I did have to look it up. Obviously, I've not got that knowledge. When I seen that Critchley got sacked, I thought, I wonder who was the last manager to get sacked, because I didn't remember.
How do you even research that? Because you can't just Google that.
I searched the last manager to get sacked after playing Stockport County.
Really?
And I just scrolled through about 4 pages before it come up with
right. Okay. Right. Yeah. I don't go off page 1 on Google ever. So you need to have your SEO in play for me to click. You know. So yeah, Gazendo says my mate is a Blackpool fan and their fans wanted him out before the season started. Oh, fair dues. I mean, I wasn't aware it was as toxic as that. Fair dues. I'm sure as well. I don't know when we're playing him in the reverse fixture, but that should be decent because they travel in numbers, don't they? So they'll bring a few.
You hope so. Again, if they turn the season round and they start, whoever it is, I think someone's mentioned there, Ryan Lowe. I think he's one of the favourites for the job, isn't he? So if he can kickstart them, it's only 9 days of whoever goes in. Well, at the minute, there's 9 days left of the transfer window, so it has to be pretty quick to get somebody in and to get some bodies in if they've got money to do that. It depends. I don't know where they're at financially or anything. So,
yeah. Well, leave them to it, eh? Shall we?
Yeah.
Should we move on to Saturday's game? Bristol Rovers at home. Bit of a preview of this game. So we have, like I said before at the top of the show, we have got an opposition preview. It's going live at 9:15 tonight. So do get on to that. Speaking to the chap from Bristol Rovers, they're sort of positive about the season, and I won't give too much away from the actual preview video. But it just strikes me that I think they've played 2, drawn 1, won 1, but scored 1 and conceded none. So it's very
They beat. Was it Northampton? They beat on the first day, and they drew on Saturday away at Rotherham. So I think it's not a bad result that to get a draw at Rotherham.
They had a worse record for the opening day from us. They hadn't won for 15 years on the opening day until last week. One of the lads at work I work with, he's a Bristol Rovers fan. When he told me, I was saying, we've not won for 5 years. And he was all, try 15, mate. I was all right.
I was actually quite looking forward to having a Bristol Rovers fan on, because the Cambridge fan and the Blackpool fan we had on the last 2 weeks have basically just been doom and gloom about the club, haven't they? So he was thinking that Bristol Rovers maybe look a bit, they'd have a bit more of a positive outlook.
Yeah, well,
it'll be a tough game. I think it'll be the toughest one we've had so far. They do seem quite solid in defence, and so I think it'll be tough. But we're at home. If we can play even 60% of what we did on Saturday second half, we'll beat most teams at home.
Is it a sellout again for Saturday, or close, very close to? Because that would be good, because the atmosphere should be bouncing, shouldn't it? Being top of the league with the 2 wins that we've had and stuff. Should be
12 kickoff as well.
Yeah, gonna have an effect. He should be bouncing. I don't think it is a sellout because I've not seen anything announced by the club for that. But because we are 2 games in and we've won 2, that should increase the walk-ups if there's such a thing. Okay, people decide on a Friday, then that's the new walk-up in it, I suppose. Because I don't think you can walk up anymore, can you?
No,
you could buy a ticket on your phone on the walk-up, couldn't you? Really?
Right? Can you do that? Okay, fair enough. So
If there's any to get, you can.
Yeah. So I mean, it's going to be difficult. We're going to struggle to break them down, I think, because you're right. I think they've got a strong defense. Taylor Moore looks like their outstanding player at the back, but I don't know. Confidence is high, isn't it? And I can't see. I can see us causing them loads and loads of problems. And even if we sort of grind them down for an hour and don't break through, assuming they've not scored and change the sort of the makeup of the game, we can bring subs on.
Yeah,
and change it. So confident.
It's the thing as well is that even everybody's going to pinpoint Barry, so they're going to double up on Barry. I think they'll realise Wotton's a threat, so they double up on him. But then that gives the likes of Diamond, Collar, even Bait and Camps, just in behind, it starts giving them space. So as you say, you double up on one player, then we've got openings elsewhere, and we've got other players that can hurt you, who maybe go under the radar a bit more or aren't as well known in League One. So yeah, I think they probably are solid at the back, but I think again, if Wotton plays like he did in the second half, I think he can bully their centre backs and stuff. And again, he looks so much better than he did last year. But it's the first year he's properly had a pre-season, I think, isn't it, with us? He was injured last year, wasn't he? And so I'll be honest, I wasn't sure if he'd be able to cut it in League One. I know we're only 2 games in, I'm not getting ahead of myself, but he's looked a much better player than he did for all of last season. So yeah, I think we can cause some problems. I think if we get one, I think that'll, well, if they're coming for a point or not, but if we get 1 goal, then they're going to have to push out, and that starts opening the gaps. And then, as you say, we've got Fevrier, Alafi that we can bring on and just cause them completely loads of different problems when they're all knackered, and 2 more players that will run at them.
I think if he works in blocks of 10 games, only Challoner, so he'll have an idea about what points he wants after 10 games. I'm pretty sure that after the first year it wouldn't have been 9. It might not have even been 7. I reckon before the season 4 would have been acceptable, and 6 probably the target. So obviously, I think we're going to win. But if we lose, it's clearly not the end of the world. And a draw's not the end of the world either. 3 wins out of 3 for the first 3 games back in League One. It would be stupid, wouldn't it, to do that? But there's nothing to say we can't do it. We've had that. No. Like I said, Bristol will be the hardest game, but at home you've always got to fancy us. Just when you were saying then, Waggy, about the starting 11 and then bring Tanto on and Fevrier on, you're thinking, bloody hell. It's just mad, isn't it?
And we're in the middle of an injury crisis.
Yeah, exactly. If we had a full, if miraculously everyone was fit for Saturday, I still wouldn't change the team.
No, at this point in time, definitely not. Definitely not.
Oh, we've not spoken about a die on Saturday. Just quickly going back, he didn't have a save to make. But how does he? He takes 2 or 3 players out of a game with a 10-yard pass.
Yeah,
it blows my mind, and I feel quite guilty about it actually, because I was very much, well, I still am, in the Ben camp, always will be, and I was convinced he was going to start the season, and I was disappointed he didn't start on the first game. Understood why, and then you're thinking he's done a few long balls on the first game. Is he that much better with his feet? Yeah, he is. You can see it now. Again, I think Ben would walk into 20 teams in League One. It just shows the strength that we've got all over in every position, really.
I like I think he's more of the dark arts than Ben is as well. When he got touched in the first half, he literally his chest right in front of me, and the guy just like brushed his hand across his chest, and he went down as if he broke a rib. It's like, I was just like, Ben wouldn't do that. And I'm not taking, I said no disrespect to Ben, but Ben is too honest. realistically.
I think he's old school as well. Speaking to my mate Paul White, and he said a good point. They've grown up with different eras of football. Ben was, you get the ball, you kick it, you keep the ball out, and that's it. Whereas Corey's younger. He's the not the first thing they have to do, but like, being good with your feet is really high up there. And it's strange, by the way, that we've all of a sudden started referring to our goalkeepers on first name terms. Never Hinch before die. It's Ben and Corey.
Ben and Corey. Ben and Corey sounds like a kids' TV program, doesn't it? Ben and Corey's
League One adventure.
Yeah. That's the title of the podcast. Let me just write that down. Are we, as a fan base, though, are we to expect and accept the odd mistake from Corey Dine? It might happen on Saturday against Bristol Rovers. He does look really relaxed on the ball. You're right, he does take players out, but is there going to be a time when he does make a mistake, it leads to a goal, and we just got to go, well, that's just how we play?
Yeah, he did it against Cambridge, didn't he? Where he passed it straight out to their player, but then makes a decent save of it. I think we mentioned it on the podcast last week. Yes, he's going to give you a heart attack more than once. Hopefully not once a game, but more than once this season. There's going to be definitely times where you would probably hear the whole crowd go,
yeah.
As he say, and as he tries to nutmeg somebody or does something, a Cruyff turn or something, that you'll just be like, "What are you doing? Just get rid of it."
Yeah.
You definitely got to accept the odd mistake. You do from a striker when they don't score. You do from a midfielder when they give the ball away. And as brilliant as Ben has been, and I'm sure will be whenever he plays, he's made the odd mistake, and they're quickly forgiven. So definitely, if you don't forgive a mistake, then you're gonna not enjoy football very often.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's an environment where the mistakes are forgiven at Stockport County. And I know, having played football and things, sometimes mistakes aren't forgiven, are they? Because you get lambasted on the pitch for it, don't you? As if people don't make mistakes. Back to Saturday, Bristol Rovers at home. Then Ian Dowden says, as if we needed more reasons to be positive. Bristol Rovers have only had 11 shots in 2 games with 4 on target. We've had 27 and 12. We've got this. I mean, with the creativity we've got, again, it's just frightening, isn't it? So I can't see anybody. I'd like to know if anybody's not confident going into Saturday.
Well, what's the stats against them? How many shots have the opposition had against them?
Don't know. Just Waggy, just Google it and it'll be on page 4 or 5. Probably.
Ian will be on it. He'll be Googling now. I'm talking.
So we don't know. I mean, you're right. I mean, they could have faced a lot of goals, a lot of XG, should we say? Quick word on Wootton though as well. He does look like a different player. Was you, Dave? You don't have to answer this if you don't want to. But was you ever critical of Wootton in the past? I'm not digging you out here.
Most positive fan. How can he be?
I have been. Don't worry about that. I was against Wootton. I would say when at the start of last season, it was how do we play without Wootton, and then he came back in against Crewe away when Barry got injured and he scored and he was great. But then when he got injured again, he didn't seem to come back his normal self. Maybe he rushed back from the second injury. I don't know, but I wasn't critical. But I certainly wasn't expecting the levels that we've seen in the first 2 games. I don't think many people were. People will say, "Yeah, I always saw it." No, you fucking didn't.
No, I think
sorry for the language, but you did.
No. You'd have expected him to score more when he came back last season, because, as you said, it was when he got injured the season before. It was how do we play without him, and we couldn't play. We didn't seem to know, and Challenger didn't seem to know how to play without him. But then when he came back, it was, well, how do we play with Wootton? Because we've got Barry and Tanto playing up front, haven't we? And they were working really well. So I think not necessarily critical, but he didn't look the player that he had done previously for me. So maybe he just. But again, he gets a lot of free kicks, doesn't he? He gets a lot of free kicks given against him for doing something exact the same as defenders doing to him.
This is it. Yeah. So there's some comments coming through here. So Gazendo says a bit more protection in fairness from the officials wouldn't go amiss, which I think it feels like he's getting that in League One. I don't know from League Two and certainly the National League. And then Matthew Padfield, weirdly, Woods might be better suited to League One, where not every centre back is a beast in the air, and that's telling as well. I think that's probably accurate.
Mm.
So yeah, and then final word on Bristol Rovers at home. Charlie Hayne, hi Charlie. I'm going on their show tomorrow to preview Saturday's game. It's going to be a tough one for them on Saturday. Not looking forward to leaving at 7 a.m. Yeah, don't blame you, mate. Honestly, that's just a nightmare, isn't it? I'm not even sure you'll make it for 12:30 if you leave at 7 a.m. from Bristol, will you?
Maybe I was on the train, innit?
Yeah.
It was about 3.5 hours, is it, from Bristol?
But yeah, cheers for coming up, mate. So that's Saturday. Let's move on, unless you've got anything else to say about Bristol Rovers on Saturday.
Do you want to give score predictions?
We can give score predictions. In fact, before we give score predictions, let me just mention as well that Fan Hub HQ is in Bristol, and the co-founder is a Bristol Rovers fan, Harley. So
Hope he
and
doesn't
then
forget to check in on Saturday then.
Is what?
Hope he doesn't forget to check in on Saturday.
Well,
Be awful, wouldn't it?
That's if he comes up. Imagine that. Imagine the co-founder of.
Yeah, he doesn't go to games.
I don't think he'd need to, does he? I think he could just go in and change it.
Yeah.
He currently lives in Las Vegas.
Predictions then for Saturday. Daniel Davis has gone earlier. All right, Dan, 2-0. Ian Dowden's gone 3-0 again.
I think 3-0 again.
Do you?
Yep.
I'm going to go 3-1. I think we're going to go 1-0 down this time, and we're going to show what we all know that we're good at, capable of. Doesn't matter. We'll just keep playing our game and we'll win. Sorry, I've just remembered something else. You know what I really liked in Challoner's interview on Saturday? He said 0-0 at half time, and he went in and he said, being a bit too cautious, go out in there and try and win the game, and if we lose it, it's on me. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that just shows the kind of manager that he is. He's not going to change because of the level that we're at. He wants to win every game, as we knew before. But for him to come out and say that, but you watch now, we'll go to attacking on Saturday, lose 1-0, coming out in Tom to do that.
Yeah. Let's watch this space.
Yeah, they didn't follow the game plan.
But prediction, what did I say? 3-1. 3-1, yeah.
3-1. So Ian Dowden said 3-0. Gazendo 4-1. Phil Lloyd 2-0. Dan Moat 3-1. Andy Birchinov 4-1. Nick 5-1. John says a draw. And Lewis Kidd from Brinnington says we're going to lose 2-1 at home.
Ooh.
By the way, John, Classic County, he plays 5 hours on a Thursday. And he's quality.
Is he?
I didn't see it coming. But he's quality, yeah.
Is that when you look at someone, I think they're not very good at football.
Not look at, because he's just a bald man like me. But when Classic County on Twitter, I thought, oh, he must be getting on a bit. But he's not. But on the subject of 5-a-side, we've got a group of 25 people. We struggle for 10 every week. We're all county fans. So if you want to play Power League 8:30 on a Thursday, message me on Twitter. You can add you to the group. We struggle for 10 people out of 25, and it really annoys me. So if anybody fancies it, do let me know.
Good plug.
You get to play against really good Classic County and me.
Good stuff. Right, let's do a bit of a squad update then. Here's where we start messing around with the technology. So for the audio listeners, we will obviously talk you through this. If you remember, we had the graphic from a few weeks ago. We've updated the graphic, and we've added where players are injured, and we've added squad numbers. And obviously it's changed since we last did this. So if I can make the technology work like this. There we go. Let me just get rid of that. Hopefully you can all see that. So as you were in goal, obviously, we got Inchley, Badai and Metcalf. So we start Ben, Corey and Max.
Max. Yeah.
Yes. Get in. Obviously at the back we've got Noiley, who's injured, as represented by a medic briefcase, which looks good, doesn't it?
Medic kit.
Yeah, obviously got Horsfall, Hughes, Torre, Mingy, Onyango, Pai. Onyango's on loan from Everton. Maka injured, Camps, Powell's injured, Bate, Connolly's injured, Rydell and Adaramola are both injured. Attacking midfielders, Collar, Bailey, Fiorini's injured. And then up front, we've got Gardner, Fevrier, Diamond, Stretz is injured, Barry, Wotton, Olafi, and Mellon is injured. 9 injuries we count. Is that right? Are you concerned? Do you want more bodies in? Dave?
Yes, it's right. I don't think I want more bodies in, because what happens when everybody's fit? You've got too many players. He said Rydell was close, didn't he? And Powell. I don't see where Rydell comes back in just yet. Torre's undroppable, and Powell again. Can't believe I'm saying it, but how does he get into the team as well? It's crazy. I'm not seeing Fiorini, which before the season he was one I was most excited about seeing playing for us. So I was going to have to wait a little bit longer for that. He was in the courtyard before the Cambridge game. He seemed a nice chap. I had a quick chat with him. I hate it when people say that, but because Lily wanted a picture with him, so I just said, "Hi, mate, you all right?" But you look at some of the other ones. Connolly as well. He was one who was really, really exciting. I don't know when he's going to be playing. And then Stretton. Do you think I don't like saying it, but I don't really see if he plays for us ever again. Because even when he's fit, I don't see where he fits into the team. Which is a shame, because when he came back after his first injury in the playoff run, he was really good. He obviously scored a goal, nearly scored at Wembley. But then it's just the injuries. It's a shame.
If it feels like he's a development player to me. So we got him in, obviously young, and send him out on loan, maybe play a few games for us and sort of develop himself. And because of all the time he spent injured, which is obviously it's no fault of his own, I think it just feels like he's behind. Yeah. He's lost loads of time and he's not had that chance to develop himself. I think Daniel Davis says he'll threaten to be loaned out when he think he's fit. I think he will do.
But the contract is up at the end of the season, though, isn't it?
Is it right?
Yeah, pretty sure of that. I might be wrong.
Yeah. So Charlie did say in his interview on Sky this morning that he didn't confirm, but he didn't rule out anybody else coming in. When you look at that, I mean, where are you putting somebody in?
I think the only position possibly, but I think Mingy's done a job there. Is, as you say, is a right back, to cover for Noel and Maka. But for me, that would only be maybe a loan till January or a 2-3 month loan. You know what I mean? I don't see anywhere else where we need, even with the injuries that we've got, we still look, we've not got full rotation. We've not got still the full, the full squad there, have we? But we've still got players that can come on and make an absolute difference.
I think Hughes can play there as well, can't he? Right back.
Yeah, well, but isn't he in? He went off against
Blackburn.
Against Blackburn.
He said he was going to be back. He could have been in contention for the weekend, so I assume he will be back.
Right. Okay. So yeah, we've still got cover in most positions, haven't we? The only one that I think we are a bit light is that right back, right wing back.
Yeah.
Position.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, I think Mingy and Fevrier can probably do a job there. I know he wants to play further up the pitch, but I think they can both do a job there to stand in. And worst case scenario is Collar can go there.
Yeah,
don't want to see him there, but he can.
Don't let him hear you say that. Don't let him hear you say that.
No. I won't say it when he's on.
Yeah, I mean, just out of selfishness in the interest of this graphic, I hope it isn't a right back, because I'm gonna have to start making the font smaller or something, or moving things around.
Do it on an A3.
Colin made his debut. That was a lie, but in Challoner's first game, Bolton away, he played right back that day, didn't he?
That's a good memory. Bloody hell, did he? Did he play right back away in that day?
Yep.
Wow.
Wow.
But if we don't sign anybody, I won't be disappointed.
No.
Because it will mean that we've got players coming back.
It does, yeah. Someone's put in the comments, John Billsbury, our blogger, and I'll mention that towards the end of the show as well. Do we need a Mellon replacement if his injury is a long one?
No, I don't.
That's
I don't think so.
Asking the important questions. Asking the important questions.
It's a difficult, isn't it? As you say, we've got Wotton's playing really well. Barry, Diamond, Fevrier. Alafi's coming back. You know, it might take him 2 or 3 weeks to actually get fully fit. So possibly, yeah, we bring somebody in just for competition, but it depends, because I think originally they were thinking he was out for the season, didn't he? But is he still out? Is he out for the season?
No, I think he's out.
Plans for him. I think it was 3 or 4 months or something.
Yeah,
But Wilson was saying, because you've got a season on loan, you've got to hold the agreement up. So the expectation would be at the end, when he's fit, he would come back. So new signing at Christmas it would be. Feel like. Yeah,
because the contracts state that, don't they? That you've got to treat them as if they're your player. I think that was said. Either at the forum or in an interview. So you can't just this thing. It's almost like it really isn't FIFA and Football Manager. You can't just send them back. You know, you've signed a contract. They're your responsibility. They're human beings. They have to be looked after. So, that's what we'll say about that. Yeah, it's a difficult one, isn't it? It's a difficult one. I've never seen us with this much depth.
No, I mean, as you say, if all of them are fit, it's just like we could probably play County A versus County B and still finish like in the playoffs, both teams.
Yeah. Interesting. It's interesting, isn't it? Anything else to pull out of that? Are you buying into these rumours that Powell isn't happy? I've heard that doing the rounds.
Yes, I'm buying into it. I just think he's not done anything to get injured 3 times in the last 4 weeks. It was, first of all, it was a hamstring, then it was something else. But apparently I didn't go. But you know that cricket match he did at Offerton Cricket Club? When he was asked then, when you're fit, he was telling people, I'm fit now. I'm not injured. So whether the rumours are to be believed about falling out behind the scenes or if he's not happy, I don't know. But I could see it. People say, "Oh, I don't like his attitude from his interview at the end of the season." I absolutely love his attitude
brilliant.
in that. Yeah, I love that attitude because we've not done anything now. It's not what I'm here for. I'm here to get us to the championship. So I hope it's not the end for him, because obviously he could do it. I think he'd be better in League One than he was in League Two. And I'm in the camp that when he played in League Two, he was really bloody good as well.
And I think
imagine him and Bate in that midfield.
Well, that's what I mean. But you think about, as you say, having Barry back, having Diamond, Fevrier, they're no disrespect to the players that we had then, but they're better players. So you would think, you know, Lemonade Evans came back for the second half of last season, and him and Paddy seemed to be on the same wavelength as Powell, whereas the other players didn't quite seem to be, you know, clicking with it. Whereas I think, you know, Barry, Diamond and stuff like that, I think they just absolutely feed off him. I think he would just be sat as like that quarterback role, if you like, sat just in front of the defence and just pinging balls out and just controlling the game, just passing it out. Because his range of passing is just superb.
Yeah, it's frightening. I just wonder whether there's this conflict of, he knows his body. You know, he'll say he's fit, but the data and the science says he's not. So, and maybe that's where the conflict is, because you do get characters, don't you? Well, from all walks of life, but especially as you grow up the football divisions, because they believe in their own ability, and they almost know more than maybe the coaches do in some respects.
Was it when Wharton got injured? Was it Gillingham? He could have carried on playing, but the scan showed he had to go and have an operation and be out for 4 months. But he wasn't in any pain whatsoever. Yeah, mad what they pick up now.
Yeah.
But sticking with him, if I've got an outlandish claim that I'm gonna say, we're gonna look back in 15, 20 years. Lewis Bate will be the best signing we've ever made. That's what I'm gonna say. Gone early. Never mind player of the year crap. It's gonna be one of the best. I'm not gonna say one of. It's gonna be the best signing we've ever made, and it was free.
It was,
He's just so good. Like you thought, was it the second goal? Yeah, February, wasn't it? You just thought, oh, keeper's misplaced a pass or something. He didn't.
No, he
Bates
didn't.
came out of nowhere, and then he's already. He doesn't look at the floor once. He doesn't look where he's going. He's always looking. Who's there? Have I got anybody behind me? Have I got a pass there? No, there. He's so good. Off the ball, mint. Like,
Yeah,
I don't think he misses the tackle.
I think the difference as well is that he's always getting the ball on the half turn, and he almost knows straight away before he gets that ball where it needs to go, where the pass is going to be. I think he is next level. How long we can keep him for, I think that's the only thing that I'd probably be worried about. Is if he's having. I know we've probably got him for at least a season, but if he carries on like that for the whole season, it's unbelievable.
If we go up this season, which again could be outlandish, even 2 games in. But if we go up this season, he'll stay in the Championship. His next move could be the Prem. That's how good he is. Obviously, he fell out a bit when he went to Chelsea, then Leeds. Something wasn't quite right, but you can just see it. So that's my prediction. He's either going to be our best signing or the next player that we sell to the Prem, because he might not be able to be both.
Just a quick word while we're talking about Lewis Bate. We are the away kit sponsors of Lewis Bate for the 24-25 season on the podcast. We're also sponsoring Corey and Che Gardner as well, just to let everybody know.
So the Usain Bolt will keep commenting on your Instagram. I'll never get that, by the way.
Yeah, well, that isn't the reason why we did that. That's just a nice to have for Che Gardner, because I don't know if for those that don't know who are listening to this, that Che Gardner is Usain Bolt's godson and Ricardo Gardner's son. So we did get a reply from Usain Bolt when we published this, which was nice. So yeah,
get him on the pod.
Yeah, that'd be good, wouldn't it? And then just the final one to put up. So it's Lewis Bates away kit, Che Gardner's home kit, and it's Corey Adai's home kit as well. So that's what we're sponsored this season. So good stuff. There's some comments coming through about Bate while we carry on that. So here we go. Let's. How much do you reckon? Don't answer this yet, but how much do you reckon we'll get for him if and when we sell him? If we sell him, I'm sure we will. So I'll start the bidding. So it's going to be the Peter Griffin school of bidding wars. By the way, Ian Dowden says 20 million plus. Luke Ashenden, at least 2 million. There we go.
That's a big variant, isn't it?
So go on. What are you thinking?
I'm just going to go a nice 7.5 million.
That'd be nice.
I was going to go a bit lower and probably say about 5 mil, I think. But as you say, you don't know, do you?
3.5 million. Daniel Davis has come in with 6 to 7 million. So near to you, Dave. Yeah.
Whatever it is,
I know he's been good. He's been good. Watch what happens now. He might end up being rubbish. I mean, Ollie Crankshaw scored a hat trick, didn't he, in his first few games? Look how he ended up. Like a bloody rusty trombone, Ollie Crankshaw. No, thank you.
I'm sure he doesn't watch the show.
Someone said the other day, and I can't get out of my head, he looks like all of the members of Blossoms at once, Ollie Crankshaw.
Someone said that Fevrier looks. He thought it might have been you, Dave, actually on X. When Fevrier went against Cambridge, you thought, "Oh bloody hell, here's another Crankshaw."
It was not me. No, it was not me. No,
maybe it was Ryan then left bollock, perhaps.
I heard someone say that it's a Crankshaw 2.0 or a Crankshaw that can cross.
Not Crankshaw, then is it? It's literally not Crankshaw.
Yeah, but he's
that's like I said, I've got a kettle that I can make toast in. No, you got a toaster.
Yeah. Let's move on because time is against us. Right, EFL League 2 Team of the Year. Let's get it out of the way. Yes, his award was spelt wrong. That's really bad for the PFA, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, 3 players from last season in team EFL Team of the Year: Torre, Horsfall, and Hinchliffe.
Just a testament to
Nice.
how defence was last year. I was surprised to see Torre in.
Yeah.
Only because of the first half of his season. That wasn't
Yeah.
his fault, like we said before. But I think his assists have got him in. I didn't realise till the other day he was our top assister last season.
Yeah. That surprised me as well.
A shock. That's why he's in. And then obviously Ben, most clean sheets, no brainer. And you'd have Horsfall as a captain of that 11 as well. I'm just surprised we didn't get any players further forward in, based on the fact we scored the most goals. But Wrexham in it.
Nick 10 degrees. Where was Paddy in that team?
But
he was playing the last 2 months.
But I think a lot of it as well, because we had so many injuries. There was only a handful of players that played more than 30 games for us, wasn't there? So maybe that had a
that's a good point.
Factor.
Yeah, good shout. That's a good shout.
So
that is a very good shout. Yeah, nice to get the accolades though, and yeah, I was surprised at Torre, to be honest, but yeah, and he's just carried it on into this season by the looks of it. So
yeah,
fair play to the lad, because he was getting a few pelters in the first half of last season.
Which again, Challoner held his hand up and said, "That's on me. I was playing him out of position. I wanted to see him in a different position. Thought he could play there, and it just wasn't for him. So he's held his hand up and gone, that's my fault." And I think it took a while for him to get his confidence back from that, because I think the crowd got on his back pretty much every time he touched the ball, didn't he? For the first 2 or 3 months, certainly.
Yeah,
we've got mentioned once tonight, Ethan Pye, and he's just been great.
Yeah, he's been class. Yeah, someone did say that he did head the ball out, by the way, from the long.
Right.
I thought it was Horsfall, but I'm I get these things wrong. So yeah, but yeah, he has been class, hasn't he? To be honest, they've all been class, haven't they?
Yeah.
It's really hard to pick a player out to say, they've been better than everybody else.
And that's why we say who would be dropped to bring like Fiorini in, Powell in. It's just momentum is absolutely superb, and long may it continue.
We might get another 9 in a row. It's 9 in a row, yeah. We're 2 in, aren't we? Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, that's about what's the record? What's the record for League One? Let's start.
Football League 9, isn't it?
It's the 9's football league, including Tier 1.
Yeah, City nearly got. I think City got 8 last year, but thankfully, Crystal Palace scored.
Yeah. Yeah, got a couple of more things to talk about. Before we do, I've got to mention we have got a Matty Warburton podcast coming soon for our Patreon subscribers. That's going to land very, very soon. And here's a little snippet. We've got a comment in from one of our subscribers, Phil James. He says, and I don't know how true this is, you used to work at Ashton on Mersey School where loads of United players went to. Whilst you were there, did you teach any really good players as part of your PE lessons? And maybe you could feed them into Simon Wilson now.
Well, you seem to have a stronger link with City than United, so I'll let Simon keep exploring that one.
So I spoke to Matty last week. It was now. So we're just finalising that podcast, and we'll get that out. And that was a really good chat with. I called him a legend, so I don't care. I think he is.
Yeah.
Is he still at Solihull?
Yeah, he's at Solihull. Scored on Saturday. I think they got beat last night away at Eastleigh, who I think have had a good start. But yeah, he's still at Solihull. Bit of a long commute by all accounts, but yeah, still at Solihull. Yeah,
he did
enjoying his
down to Northampton, didn't he, when he went there?
Yeah. So we talk about what his time before county, his time at county, what's next for him, and how he's getting on at Solihull and things like that. So yeah, you have to be a Patreon member to watch or listen to that podcast. Good stuff. Last couple of things then. I wanted to talk about the Charlie interview. I mean, he said about bringing more bodies in. Again, obviously we've got a bloated squad. I think it's bloated. We've obviously got a few injuries. But I just wanted to talk briefly about his demeanor and the way he comes across in interviews, and get a bit psychoanalysis here. Because there was a tweet about, I retweeted it about somebody who looks at psychology of managers, and he did a big long write up on X. I don't know if you saw this about Challinor, about how he's direct. He doesn't use sort of jargon, and he's very concise with his wording, but he never sort of blames the players and always brings it to a point where, right, well, that stops with me. I don't want to for them to get too excited, and he always plays the sort of, the
unless it's Tranmere.
Well, this is it. I mean, but I don't think he dug anybody out, did he? Specifically, he probably said, I can't remember the interview now, but he probably said, the players, when players are telling me and they're coming to my office saying they want to start, and when I do start them, they're not showing me what they've got.
Yeah, he didn't actually mention names, but it was the young lad that was his only game that he played, the defender.
The one from United, wasn't it?
Yeah, the one from United. That was his only game, and he didn't specifically point him out, but he said that when it's your debut in professional football, or you want to make an impression for your first League Two game, then you need to be doing better than that. So I think that's probably the only time when you've probably seen him almost losing rag.
Yeah,
Reece Bennett, he was called. That was it.
Yeah.
Although he was quite vocal after the Blackburn game, wasn't he? Against some of the younger lads. But it does, the majority of the time. I mean, if you've watched one interview, you've watched them all. But I like it. I like how he goes about it. That's my favourite phrase that he says. That's how we go about it.
Yeah. It must be frustrating to interview. I mean, I've interviewed him a couple of times now, and you're trying to not be funny, but trying to get a bit of personality out of him. I'm not saying he's not got a personality. I'm not saying that. But it's like we asked him about squad numbers and things, and we asked him about, why do you hate us? Because you beat us with Fylde, you beat us with Hartlepool, and he just laughed, and he sort of went, and then he sort of played the party line. Do you know what I mean? As if he didn't get into that sort of those shenanigans. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah,
I just think he's really enjoying his job, because he's done it the hard way, hasn't he? He's put his miles in, and he's getting all the rewards now, and he's still a young manager, really. But I just think he's loving it, and why change anything about him that clearly works so well, be it interviews or whatever it is.
Yeah. I'm not saying to change.
Oh,
it.
No.
If anything, I look at Charlie's interviews and I'm proud that he's like that, because you look at some of the other interviews and they're just embarrassing. Like Critchley probably the other night, after Saturday. I get that. He's just so professional and straight laced and doesn't take any shit. It's so good.
Although I did used to love a Gannon meltdown on an interview. It was but on the same vein, I loved when we'd won how happy he was. But with Challinor, it's all straight down line, isn't it? But you can tell, because as soon as that final whistle goes, right, what's next? I need to focus on what's next. And that's why we're being so successful, because we're not, as he says, getting too down, getting too low, or getting too high. We're just flatlining it as a neutral and cracking on.
Yeah, absolutely. Just to mention as well, before we do get in reses, fair play to the lads for walking all the way to Blackpool. Bloody hell.
They looked a little tired, didn't they, on Saturday, but they were absolutely amazing.
Yeah, they didn't look tired, mate. They were broken men. They were broken men. What's the number up to now, Waggy? What's the?
They are over $6,000. So I think the target was 5, and they're currently over $6,000. I don't know the exact figure, but they're over $6,000 at the minute. So yeah, still, if you can get donating, and I'm not going to say on the GoFundMe page.
Why is it not? It's just giving, isn't it?
It's just giving, yeah. But I keep saying GoFundMe before.
Right. Okay.
So.
Fair enough. Do you still call it a VHS?
No, Betamax.
No. Okay. Final thing then, getting reses. What have we got? I've not got a transition yet. I've not created one, but we'll have one very soon. Who wants to go first? I mean, I can go first with mine if you want, and this'll just as we go along in terms of the season. Mine is that fan, and I don't think I'm pretty sure not many of us have been there, but that fan that when you are losing at home 2 or 3-0, and there's always one fan that offers 4,000 other fans out for a fight when they're leaving the ground. It was a Blackpool fan that did that because he was like, "Come on, then, come on, you lot outside." It's like, there's 4,000 of us, mate. Come on, not condoning violence.
I missed that. I think but going off that, I think I did enjoy because I think that's the first time for a long time that I remember singing "Cheerio" because when that second goal in, it just ended. It was like it was like it was like a fire, as if the fire alarm had gone off. Yeah. It was just mass exodus. It was unbelievable. So I thought that was quite funny singing "Cheerio." I think I can't remember the last time that we stood there in an away end singing that to home fans.
And it reduced any potential trouble after the game because there was no Blackpool fans to fight with.
But you still got ushered. You still got ushered all the way around.
Yeah, down that back alley. But it was great, though, wasn't it?
So yeah, that was my getting there. We've got one from Righty, friend of the show. He's shouting it as well. He's in capitals.
Going to say that's capitals. Yeah, that's shouty.
Fans getting upset with us playing out from the keeper. How good is he on the ball, by the way? Yes.
Is anybody getting upset? We all. I
don't know. I mean, I've not seen it yet.
5 and conceded none from it. I've not seen anybody get upset about it.
Yeah, I haven't yet.
But I fully agree. If anybody is getting upset with it, shut up. You don't need to. It's working.
Yeah.
And that's football now, like it or not.
But again, yeah, as you said, it is part of football. That's part of Charlie's philosophy. And Corey can play like that. And you say he's going to make a mistake. He's going to put our hearts in our mouths. But it's part and parcel. You want to progress. It's changes that you need to make.
And it's also how he reacts to it, isn't it? So he made a mistake against Cambridge. He saved the following shot. So, all right, try not to make the mistake in the first place. But if you do, go and make up for it.
Yeah.
And he doesn't often tip it out for corners either. He tries to get it just out wide, doesn't he? Which I think is great. He gets some pace on his pacey parries, we can call them.
Pacey parries. Oh, we've already got the name of the.
Pacey parries and Louis Barry. There you are. You're gonna have to decide now.
I prefer Ben and Corey's League One Adventure.
I
do.
Yeah. Anything else? We've got 12:30 kickoffs can get in reses. Dan Malt, absolutely. Again, yes, Luke's done the same. Sky moving it. What about you, Waggy? Have you got to get in reses?
The only one I've got is what I mentioned before, was driving to Blackpool. That's the only getting the reses for me because I wanted to go on the piss. But that's just a personal thing, not an actual.
That's very personal. Okay, Dave, anything for you?
People who sit in the seats at away games, but when the seats are behind a pole. Just move. Don't make a song and dance of it. Get out of that seat. Move.
Yeah, I don't think. Well, I doubt there was a single person that was sat in the proper seat.
Do you know what? Because I didn't realise you were going to have the poles in front of seats. But we were supposed to be a bit higher up. But we went and sat further down the front, 4 rows, I think, from the front. And then about 20 minutes before kick-off, someone came and sat down. He said, "Oh, I think you're in our seats." But then he looked down the row and he saw another 20 empty seats. He went, "Oh, ignore me. Let us squeeze past." I thought, yeah. Be more like you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can sit in your own seats if you want. He reverse psychologied me. But he didn't want to sit in his seats in the end. But that just be like that, man.
Yeah. 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 I just don't get it. At home I get it. I do, because you always people.
No one's sitting in a season ticket seat at home. No way. Pay lots of money for that. They're mine.
Yeah.
But away
games. Exactly. But away, it's a free-for-all. We're getting some coming in as well. So international call-ups.
Oh, yeah.
Phoning games can get in reses. International breaks.
I think that's all right, the Reading game getting called off.
Was it Tuesday, by the way?
No, Saturday.
Oh, it was a Saturday one.
Saturday the 7th, isn't it?
Right.
Which it's only a couple of weeks away. So I mean, for one, I couldn't go to that game because I'm away at I'm at a concert all day. So that works for me. One thing, but the other one is that by the time we come to play it again, we'll have a whole load of players back. So
yeah,
I think it gives us another week to train and to get some more bodies back.
More bodies back and
on the grass.
People back on the grass. People back in the building.
Back in the building, on the grass, and more bodies in the team.
Yeah. We'll have your Mellons back, your Powells back, your Rydells back. Get it,
by the way,
who's back?
just on loan watch, Ashton Mee scored for South Shields last night, assisted by Jidda Keiki.
Ooh. National League North. I think that isn't it? Yeah. Good stuff. Okay. Just a couple of things to mention as well. Andy Birchnuff is walking from Chadderton to Stockport next year. So he's raising money for that. So look out for that. I'm not going to mention it every week because it's a long time. But just something to mention as well. Friend of the show, who's been on before, Daniel Davis. He's going to be on the pitch on Saturday because he's right. Get this right. You think the lad's walking to bloody Blackpool's bad or good? Should I say? He's been running 5K every day for a year and raised 1,800. Saturday will be his 350th run of 365.
Wow,
that's some going, that, isn't it?
1,750 kilometres. That.
Well done. I didn't see you using the calculator there.
Well, I did on my computer. Don't worry about that. I might be something swaggy, but I'm not good at maths.
I think Matthew Woodhead did Matthew Woodhead play in that game? I don't want to spoil the fact, but KK didn't assist me. Oh, hit me.
Why was he playing?
Yeah.
Jesus.
He got the assist for the other goal. Anyway, good stuff. Right, I think we'll wrap it up, boys. Dave, thanks for coming on, mate. Do you want to give us a quick plug of your sort of like impending career in the US? Now you've been on Disney Plus and the Wrexham podcast, the Wrexham.
Yeah, what have you got in the pipeline?
Jonathan Ross on Saturday.
Nice.
Ross, and Sunday brunch on Sunday. And but although I will say, I must have spoken to him for about 7 minutes in total, and then 3 seconds got used only because after I said something about being champions, my brother went laughed like he was just doing a poo, and I think that's why we made it on. But the Philbin brothers are big in Wrexham now, so that's
absolutely.
Not Wrexham, America.
You're big in Wrexham. They'll all be after you.
Yeah. Good stuff. Right. Thank you very much, Waggy. See you on Saturday. I'll probably see you as well, Dave, and see everybody else on Saturday. Please do like and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. If you are listening to us on any podcast player, please do rate and review us. That would be good. Thank you very much. And do consider joining our Patreon. You get all of this and all of our podcasts ad-free. The Courtyard Club Call, which will is published on a Monday at 1:00. Special episodes, you get all those exclusively as a Patreon member and ad-free. And you'll get anything else that we put out as well ad-free. All for £3 English per month. There we go. Okay, cheers everybody, and we shall see you on Saturday.
Cheers, thank you.
Bye.